For about a month, my tongue felt like it was housing a small mammal in my mouth. I know how that sounds, but genuinely, it felt like furry, massive, fluffy, like the thing had just decided to double in and set up camp. And the strange thing about something like this is the way your brain handles it. Because at first you think, right, that's odd, it'll sort itself out. And then a week passes, it hadn't, and it's got a bit worse. And then 2 weeks later, and somewhere in there, the rational part of your brain just starts subtly suggesting that maybe you should get it looked at. And the other part of your brain, the part that doesn't want to spend any money or admit you've been ignoring something that could be wrong, starts building a very convincing case for why it's probably just fine. I went through both of those phases fully. I also went through the phase of Googling it at midnight, which I don't recommend to anyone. You go in wondering if you've got a slightly dry mouth and you come out fairly convinced you've got about 6 weeks to live. What I knew throughout all of this, and I mean basically from the start, was that I should just go to the dentist. She's good, she'd sort it, but she's expensive. And her waiting room has that odd, uncomfortable combination of clinical smell and radio 2 that I find miserable. So I went to my GP instead, just down the road. Simple. He was fine, perfectly pleasant, a bit condescending, and he kind of hummed and hawed in the way that GPs do when they're looking at something that isn't quite in their territory, but they think they should be able to help with. And he sent me away with a course of medication and a mouthwash that is prescription strength. He said something like that was reassuring. And he told me to come back if it didn't clear up. I did what I was told, took the medication, used the mouthwash religiously twice a day, and 2 things happened. First, my tongue still felt fucking massive. No change, none at all, probably worse. And my teeth started staining. Not dramatically at first, just this gradual creeping shift in colour that I noticed in certain lights and then couldn't stop noticing, and neither could my wife. And I kind of started going around with my lips covering my teeth. So now I had the original problem, which hadn't moved, and a new problem that I'd created by treating the original problem just incorrectly. So I did what normal people do. I sat on it for another few days, which with hindsight is a pretty odd decision. But I think what was happening is I'd already committed to the GP route. I'd done the right things, followed the right instructions, and admitting it hadn't worked kind of fully like it should have done. You know, sunk cost bias and all that kind of stuff. Eventually, stubbornly, I booked the dentist. And when I sat down and told her what I'd been prescribed, she actually physically recoiled and gasped. Physically, like slight pulling back in that breath of like that healthcare professionals do when they're trying to be professional about something that's really shocked them. She said it was unnecessary and potentially harmful and completely wrong for what I was describing. So 30 minutes later, a little bit of buffing, some polishing, teeth, hopefully as you can see, back to white. She handed me the actual solution. Just salt water with a pinch of bicarb of soda. It's basically free. Takes about 30 seconds and perfect for the problem. I walked out having spent significantly more than I needed to. Lost most of a morning that I didn't really have to lose, and fixed a staining problem that only existed because I've been treating the wrong thing in the wrong way for the wrong reasons for 3 weeks. All of which could have been avoided if I'd just gone to the right person at the start. Now, I want to talk about why I didn't, because I don't think it was just laziness or cost, because both were factors. I think what I was doing, honestly, was hoping that it would just resolve on its own. And when it didn't, I chose the easier option, the more accessible option, the one that felt like doing something without fully committing to actually solving it. And I see this pattern so often with the business owners I work with that it's almost becoming the thing that I noticed before anything else. Something has been off for a year, sometimes longer, and they know it, and it shows up on the days they snap at someone in their team who just didn't deserve it, the days they push that important decision back to tomorrow because the energy just isn't there and they can't really explain why. Or Sunday evenings with that low-grade dread just sitting in their chest before their weeks even started and they used to love their business. They know the problem is there. They're certainly not in denial about that. These are self-aware, intelligent people who have built incredible things, real businesses. But instead of going to the right place with it, they've done what I did with it. They chose the accessible option, the thing that feels like they're doing something. Podcasts, books, breathwork, meditation apps, maybe therapy for a while. All decent things in the right context. But for this problem, the specific problem of having outgrown the way they currently operate, they're the GP's mouthwash. They treat the surface. They don't touch the thing underneath. Here's what I mean by outgrown. When you started the business, the demands were a certain size. Your ability to handle stress, make decisions, manage your own psychology under pressure, it was sufficient for all those demands. Maybe more than sufficient. It's part of why you built something real. But then the business grew, team got a little bit bigger, decisions got weightier, the stakes went up, and somewhere in that growth, the demands outpaced the operating system running them. Not dramatically, just gradually, the way these things happen. Until one day you notice that the tools that used to work, the drive, the focus, the ability to just push through, they're less reliable than they were. You have to manufacture what used to be automatic. That's not a mindset problem, not something you can think your way out of. Reading about it is definitely not going to fix it. It's a capacity problem. And capacity only responds to one thing: training. Not motivation, not frameworks, not another business coach helping you rearrange the structure. Actual progressive training of the internal system that runs the entire operation. The people who've done that work, and I've watched this enough times now that I'm not guessing, they operate differently. Not because their businesses got any easier, they definitely didn't, but because they got stronger relative to the demands imposed on them. Decisions get cleaner, the week doesn't run them. Sunday evening is just Sunday evening with the family. And that's available, and it's not a personality type, it's built. If you've been listening to this thinking, yeah, that's roughly where I am, the tongue situation just in business form, then that's exactly who I work with. When you book in with me for a call, it's not a discovery call where we spend 40 minutes circling whether you're a good fit. It's a proper look at what's actually in the way, what the specific constraint is, what it's been costing you, and what it would take to move it. If that's what you need right now, the link is in the show notes. Speak soon.